Donnie and Dolly. The team is supported by ableauctions.ca. Closing your business? We can help. And King of Floors, your vinyl, laminate, and engineered flooring superstore.
Delaney's OK Taryn Langley inbox. I've got the start of a migraine right now.
Really?
Yeah, my wife came down.
Yeah, we met her yesterday.
To the studio yesterday.
Lovely lady.
Yeah, and we went out. We saw the Van Gogh exhibit.
Oh right, yeah.
Okay, at the
that's where you were
convention
going.
center.
Yeah.
But she ordered some Mexican food. She was hungry, and I had a little bit of it, and I think it had some cheese in it. And as you know, if you watch this show on a regular basis, Ryan, I know you don't care about this, but I'm trying to help people out there. If I eat cheese, I get migraine headaches, and it's a thing. You can look it up. Nina in Kelowna, thank you so much. Don, if you stop eating orange cheese, you won't get a migraine from nachos. It's the food coloring. Thank you for that.
It's her birthday today.
Care.
It's her birthday today. So,
is it?
Yeah. The
Nina?
text above. Yeah, it's her birthday. She was ripping Elliot Friedman for his horrible hairdo on CBC.
Okay. Happy birthday, Nina.
Yeah. So
and happy birthday to her, and she gives me a gift.
Yeah. So stay away from the cheese that's orange or whatever. What did she say?
Yes.
Yeah.
You nailed it. Okay, our title sponsors, by the way, Able Auctions and King of Floors. Meanwhile, it is, what day is it today? It's Wednesday. All of our guests today, including Noodles, who's waiting patiently, are sponsored by the O's marketing team at Royal LePage, the go-to source for all your Central Vancouver Island real estate needs. Find out more at wearerealestate.com. We're joined now from TSN, Noodles, Jamie McLennan. How are you, sir?
Not too bad. How's everyone doing? I'm concerned about your migraine and your orange cheese habits. So that's, I got to be honest, I love orange cheese.
Of course, yeah. Yeah, and apparently it's an issue. I didn't know this until about, 6-7 months ago. So you could pass that along to your friends and family, Jamie, and thank Nina.
Yeah, I'm concerned about that because in my burger last night, just wolfed, I feel like a pound of it last night. Now, didn't wake up with a headache, but I woke up feeling very heavy and out of shape. So I had to have a good workout to try and sweat out some of the calories there.
I've seen you on TV. Things are looking fine, Jamie. I don't think you have anything to worry about. Hey, I read this last week. You said last week the Canucks free agent, and we'll get to Game 5 in a second, Jamie. The Canucks free agent priority has to be a top 4 D-man. So I wonder how you greeted the news that Nate Schmidt reportedly wants out of Vancouver.
Yeah, I mean, that's not good. I mean, that means that you've got to take a look at solidifying that side with Edler's situation as well. I mean, you have to let the dust settle. And the one thing that's thrown a wrench into everything is the expansion draft. Who are you going to lose? Who are you going to buy out once the cup is handed out, if you are going to use your compliance buyout, to free up that type of money. And to be honest, I think this is probably the most unique year with expansion involved, with a flat cap, with how things I think are going to work this time around with expansion, where you're not going to see as many side deals. So is Seattle just going to go straight up, or organizations are going to say, just pick a player and we'll adjust afterwards? So, I'm going to have to rethink my thought process there based on a top 4D. It might be 2.
Yeah.
Really with Hamanuk's situation, I know guys played well down the stretch, but it's a real opportunity for Jim Benning, once you do let the dust settle, to reshape that back end. I mean, Hughes is a star, and then you can kind of go after that and see how things unfold.
Jamie, you played in the National Hockey League for a long time. What was your experience? Yeah. I don't even know if you would have gone through this with a teammate, but somebody that wants out, sticks around, and it all works out. Everything turns out fine. Did that happen?
I've been through a lot of different scenarios. I don't want to name names because then I'm just throwing guys under the bus. But, I've been around scenarios where a guy has just said, you know what, we're in a tough situation right now. I'm near the end of my career. I've asked, I want to be out. And that was kind of ugly with the coach and the GM, and it kind of got into the media, that type of stuff. But I've also looked at a scenario or dealt with where it's a young player who's just maybe overvalues where they are in their career and feels like they should be farther along. So then they get a little bit noisy and say, you know what, I think I need to be traded. I'm not being valued. And the organization says, be patient. We want to continue to, develop you and grow. And the player grows into it. And the one I can actually point to, from the top of my head, is Mark Giordano. When I was in Calgary early in his career, I don't know if you remember this, but he had come up and played very well, and then I think he wanted a one-way contract and couldn't sort it out with Daryl Sutter and went to Russia and played in Russia for a year and then came back, and then kind of the rest is history. He's been the face of the organization for so many years. Now, that one could have gone sideways. And, in knowing Gio and what his projection was going to be as a defenseman, Calgary was patient. They didn't cave to a situation, and it ended up working out. Mark Giordano, years later, has won a Norris, has been a captain for that organization for many years. So maybe that's one story that has kind of worked out, put it that way.
All right, Jamie, big game tonight. Give us a preview. What are you expecting?
Well, I'm expecting Tampa to just come with the full court press, like they did last game, where I think the shots were 12-1 at one point, and Carey Price was brilliant to kind of give them an opportunity, the Montreal Canadiens, to settle into kind of their systematic play. And I thought their young players, especially a guy like Suzuki, was fantastic. And it's kind of going to come down to special teams battle. I know that Tampa was 0 for 5 on the power play, including that 4-minute high-sticking penalty by Shea Weber, and I thought Montreal did a great job killing it off, and a guy like Philip Danault was a man possessed. So, I think Tampa wants to finish this off tonight, because you don't want to give any life. If Montreal can somehow win this game and get it back to Montreal, their whole mindset is, hey, we can win in our own building. Now let's try and push it to 7. So it's a key game for Tampa tonight to finish it off, but it's also, I think, a key 10 minutes to start this game for Tampa and for Montreal to try and weather that storm.
Hey, Jamie, go back to game 2. The Habs outshoot them, outplay them. Vasilevsky was great. But look, they've got 6 goals in their last 2 games. They got to be feeling good now. They can put the puck past this guy.
They do, and they've got to find a way to have that consistently. And what I mean by that is, Vasilevsky, I think, is the best goalie on the planet. And Carey Price, you guys know I've been a big Carey Price guy for many years, and I've stood by him. And, I've finally come to the realization there's a regular season Carey Price, and then there's a big game Carey Price. And we've seen it on display last year in the bubble, this year in the playoffs. So he needs to continue that on. But, yes, to get to Vasilevsky, it's not just shot volume. It's getting him moving. It's applying pressure in the crease. I think he's got a really good stick around the net. So you're trying to get the pucks to the front of the net and jam away. Well, he's so big and he's so fluent side to side, as it hasn't really been that successful in the first couple games, but you're seeing now them getting him moving, trying to open holes and jam it through the body. So Montreal has to draw some confidence on. They've at least been able to find the back of the net in the last couple games on him.
Talking with Jamie McLennan, TSN. Jamie, what did you know of Matisse Kivlenieks, the young goaltender from Columbus who lost his life in a fireworks catastrophe?
I mean, just in watching him, it's really weird, but I remember watching his first game against the Rangers. It just happened to be on, and you guys know me, I'm a big hockey fan, so I'll watch randomly, out of nowhere. It happened to be Columbus and the Rangers that night, and watching him, and especially in talking to people in that organization, there was a belief years ago why, obviously they wanted to sign Bobrovsky, but Bobrovsky goes to Florida, but they kept saying, well, you look at who we have coming. And it was Elvis, and it was Korpisalo there. They have a kid, Tarasov, who's good, and then this kid. And that's the thing. They felt there was depth, and they felt there was tremendous upside for their young players. And that's the unfortunate part. And, there's no getting around it. It's just an absolute tragedy. You can see how devastated the teammates are. And as we know, it's a small community in the National Hockey League. There's There's guys that know each other. It's that 6 degrees of separation. Yeah, I played junior with that guy, played against him. He's best friends with this guy, and I played with him. And it's just unfortunate because it really shook the National Hockey League, and you could tell by the outpouring of love, not only for his family, but just for the Columbus Blue Jackets organization and their players, because, certainly it's a tragedy. We'll just call it that, because there's no way that you can paint it other than that.
Nobody does ceremonies better than the Montreal Canadiens, and I thought they did a wonderful job paying tribute to him at the Bell Center before Game 4. Tough turn, Jamie, but you're from Edmonton. Do you understand why the Oilers would be interested in Duncan Keith?
Absolutely. I think when you look at Clefbaum's situation, and that's going to be really kind of their focal point if he's going to be able to play, not play, who they're going to lose in expansion. But a guy like Duncan Keith, I think, would add to the depth of their left side, and then it allows just some of the younger players, a guy like Caleb Jones, to settle in. And when you look at their guys, even Evan Bouchard on the right side, like what are they going to do if they sign? Let's just say they sign Adam Larson and let Tyson Barrie go. So they've got a kid in Evan Bouchard, and you've got Caleb Jones there. You've got some good young defensemen that are coming, but I've always been, and especially when it comes to the defensive position, you have to allow these kids to grow and get a couple hundred games underneath their belt. Like when you're a forward, and especially a winger, you can allow young players to get in there and not have a problem. The defensemen have to be a little bit more mature to handle it, and then it goes to goaltending. Goaltenders, you see them really kind of come into their own at 24, 25 years old once they're more mentally and physically mature. So I can see the fit. I guess the question would be for me, 2 things. Can they make the money fit? Because it's going to have to be a money deal as well. You're going to have bad money go out. So they might use their compliance buyout on a guy like James Neal. But are they going to change their goaltending situation and incorporate a guy like, I'm drawing a blank on the goaltender there now, not Mike Smith, but
Koskinen.
Mikko Koskinen. And do you get rid of his $4.5 million off the books? And that's the type of thing. If you can fit Duncan Keith in for the next 2 years at just over $5 million on your cap hit, and you have some bad money go out, I think it's a fit because he can still skate. And yes, analytically, it hasn't been his best last couple years, but I think he brings a wealth of experience. And what it does is allows some of those young kids to continue to grow. And if they end up pushing him down the lineup, so be it. And another fit I can see, and I know I'm getting long-winded,
That's okay.
is Winnipeg, because Logan Stanley, there was a lot of talk of Jamie Alexiak being linked to Winnipeg. Well, they have Alexiak. Yeah. They've got a big, long defenseman who plays physical in Logan Stanley. He just needs experience. So if Duncan Keith could go there and slot in and take some of those minutes while Stanley continues to grow, I think that might be a situation as well. So I would track it, but I think Duncan Keith, if he's slotted properly, can add value to either Edmonton or a team like Winnipeg.
Jamie, thanks so much for this Above and Beyond. As always, have a great summer.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me.
You bet.